Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry, free NHL picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down today's slate. We have some good games coming up today, and we will jump right into it. Starting today, before we get to the standings and we do yesterday's kind of recap, we're just going to kind of look at the scores on what happened yesterday, briefly go through it, which makes a better recap, in my opinion. Washington lost 4-2 to Anaheim. It is sound the alarm bells time in Washington for Capitals fans. That was a bad loss to lose with Ovechkin making his return. Sabres finally beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Thrilling 6-5 overtime win. Great for the Sabres. Everybody was on Edmonton yesterday, but everyone was on Edmonton for a reason. They smashed the Penguins 7-2. The Devils coming back in overtime against the Kings. Dawson Mercer, I said it, to bet him for a point at plus money, to bet him at a goal plus 300. He got 2 goals yesterday, and I believe an assist as well. So great job for Mercer. A great comeback for the Devils. Marc-Andre Fleury with the shutout, his first ever career shutout against the Blue Jackets. One of the few teams he had not shut out. He did yesterday. The Wild continued their strong defensive play, even with defensive injuries. Detroit, home dog. I should have bet them, but I did not. They came through against the Rangers here and Halak. Finally, a Vancouver game goes under, the first and after 11 games. Of course, that was one of my premium plays, the over in Canucks St. Louis. That did not cash. Vegas Golden Knights once again beat Calgary in Vegas. Calgary is now 0-8-1 with that. Now they have an overtime loss. They've never won in Vegas. That continued on. Boston with the 6-5 win against the Kraken. And Nashville, huge important win for them, winning 6-2 in regulation. We'll go quickly to the standings, go over them briefly, get to the comments, and get into the games here. Carolina, New Jersey, Rangers, no big surprise with these three. Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, again, no big surprise. The only thing here is who's going to finish second, who's going to finish third. But other than that, I think it's pretty much set in the Atlantic. The wild card race, Detroit back in a playoff spot for the first time in a long time. I can't remember earlier this year if they've been in a playoff spot, but it has been a long time for the Detroit Red Wings, who are currently in the last wildcard spot with 3 games in hand on Florida, 4 games on hand on the Islanders here. Pittsburgh continues to struggle. Buffalo, they also have games in hand on the teams above them. Washington, sound the alarm bells. Ottawa, they've got games in hand as well. Tough game for them tonight. Then the bottom feeders of the Eastern Conference. Dallas, Winnipeg, and Minnesota now in the third wildcard spot. Everyone was, including myself at times, was ready to write the Wild off, and now they're only 3 points from winning the Central Division. So the Wild are right back in the race with some strong play recently. Vegas, Edmonton, LA, the top 3 in the Pacific. The wild card teams, Seattle now into a wild card spot. Colorado with 67 points. Calgary right behind with 66. And then Nashville kind of back there with 62. And then the bottom feeders of the Western Conference. I will bring up the first game, and then we will jump into the comments here. Yes, what a great game to start out with as well. That Bruins Kraken game was crazy. It sure was. I didn't expect Kraken to pour it on like they did. They were obviously pissed about losing, getting shut out by the Sharks. But Boston was too much for them. Legit. I smashed like Terry. Thank you, Richie. You always do. If I'd known about the trade happening, I would have gone with the Ducks. Yeah, that was kind of a last-minute announcement there. Hey, Terry, lots of great games today and tomorrow. Let's cash and get some winners for sure. Wild money line today, Terry. I'm about to break that down here in a couple seconds. But yes, is the answer to that question. Absolute heartbreaker last night for the McCann shot and goal prop. He had 2 shots and goal in the first period, held all game. And then Bees gave him, the third shot. Yeah, unfortunately, your best bet. He did get the third shot. So that really sucks. That hurts. Also visited Minnesota for a couple games 2 weekends ago and was very impressed with the experience. You are lucky. I've never been there. So I'm super jealous, to be honest. Good day, Terry. Hey, Brian. Shout out Terry and his Charlie McAvoy assist prop. Dude's an animal. Heck yeah, he is. Morning, Mossy. How's it going? Leafs team total under 3.5 and wild money line plus 180. And then Isaac says Leafs minus 1.5. In this game, we have the Minnesota Wild plus 170 to plus 190. Toronto Maple Leafs minus 200 to minus 220. 1.6.5, mostly sixes in this game here. Both teams have been winning as of late. Minnesota 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. Toronto 4-2 in their last 6. But the way I look at it here, Minnesota has faced New Jersey, Florida, Colorado, Dallas, Nashville, LA, and Columbus. So that is 6 of 7 teams either fighting for a playoff spot or in a playoff spot. Toronto Maple Leafs have faced Columbus, Chicago, Montreal, Chicago, Buffalo. Looking at who these teams are facing right now, Minnesota is facing far, far better competition than Toronto. Minnesota has a better record in their last few games. The Wild 4-3 in their last 7 trips to Toronto. The Wild 4-3 on the second night of back-to-backs this year. If I went and looked at last year's stats, I believe they won like 12 last year back-to-backs. The Wild are very good on back-to-backs. They saved Philip Gustafsson to be in net for this one. He's got the second best save percentage, second best goals against average in the league. Could Toronto win this game? Yes, of course they could. They're minus 200 favorites. Should Minnesota be plus 170 to plus 190 in this spot? Absolutely not. I'm taking the Wild money line here. I think they're going to be right in this game with Philip Gustafsson. If this game somehow does go to overtime, that is bad news for the Leafs because the Wild have a very good overtime record. I like Minnesota here at a big underdog price in this one. When it comes to the total, Minnesota heavily trending towards the under. Toronto heavily trending towards the over. So no real opinion for me on the total. Everybody was right on. So many people were on the under in the Minnesota-Columbus game yesterday. I was going to be on it, but then kind of talked myself off of it. That was a mistake. Obviously, 2-0 Minnesota win. Wild on back-to-back. Ryan Hartman under 2.5 shots on goal. Leafs ranked 6 against shot on goal. Interesting. That's the one player I would not be fading right now. We'll see how many shots he gets, but that's the one player on the Wild I would not fade right now. He's got a ton of confidence right now. Let's ride the Gus bus. Yes, sounds good. Minnesota as a big underdog here. Moving on to the next game, Montreal and Philadelphia. I'll be 100% honest. I did not cap this game. I completely skipped it. On today's slate, this is the one game where I just have no interest in it. It would be Montreal or pass, but I'm happily choosing pass in this one. No real opinion on this one. Ottawa, Carolina. We have Ottawa plus 190 to plus 215. Carolina minus 238 to minus 260. 6.5s right across the board. This one, Ottawa 7-2-1 in their last 10 games, playing good hockey, getting back into the race. 5 of their last 7 have gone over 6.5. Carolina 11-1 in their last 12 games. This Carolina team is scary. If they go out and get themselves a player or two at the deadline, this Hurricanes team is going to be scary, and they may have to with what the Rangers have been doing and rumored to be doing. 4 of the last 6 for Carolina have gone under. Carolina has covered the puck line 4 of their last 5 wins. Cam Talbot will be making his return to the net for Ottawa here. If I was playing anything, it would be Carolina -1.5. I'm not a fan of Talbot, especially coming back from injury. And this would be a Carolina spot, if anything, for me. I do have a player point parlay, which I will give out in full at the end of the show. But the player I should have mentioned that Ryan Hartman is the first player to get a point in that parlay. You could get him to get a point by himself, +120, +110. But I do have him in my point parlay in this game. Brent Burns continues to find a way to get a point for Carolina. So I will happily take Brent Burns to get a point as the second leg of my 4-team player point parlay. Scott Lofton, under 2.5 shots on goal, -142. Flyers are allergic to shooting the puck. All right. Well, if they're allergic to shooting the puck, they shouldn't be huge favorites, as they are, that's for sure. Senators money line says IceX. I like Kane's first period puck line. I like that too. I like it. Terry's favorite goalie is back tonight. Fire. No. Tim Stützle under 2.5 shots on goal, -118. Alex DeBrincat under 2.5 shots on goal, -115. Canes have allowed the least shots on goal in the league. Yeah, that's definitely good luck. Some value on the Sens. Took team total over 2.5. Don't trust them to win the game. Yeah, they're definitely they are 7-2-1 in their last 10, and they're +200 dogs. So there's definitely value on them. I just can't go against this Carolina team right now. 11-1 in their last 12. So I'm in the same boat, Nick. Buffalo and Florida in this game. You get Buffalo +150 to +176. Florida -182 to -205. Sevens right across the board. I see a 7.5 at the score bet. Are we going to start seeing 7.5s? That's a very good question. That's the first one I've seen, I think, this year, but there's a good reason for it. Buffalo 4-1-1 in their last 6 to a total of 7. So 4 over, 1 under, 1 push. Florida 10 over, 2 under, 3 pushes that landed on 7 in their last 15. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these teams have had at least 7 goals. Florida is 6-0 in the last 6 meetings. Florida has had Buffalo's number for a while. Originally, it was just going to be the over for me in this game. But this Buffalo Sabres team at this big underdog price, I know they're the second night of a back-to-back, but I put the Sabres money line up on the site as a free play for me. The way the Sabres team is playing, especially on the road this year, at an underdog price, I had to take them here just because of the price. Florida has dominated them. There will be no Barkov for Florida today. No Sam Bennett either. That hurts Florida. So I think Buffalo, another big live dog today in this one. Buffalo on the road as a dog. Sabres +172. Nick looked up the stats. Sabres are 13-9, up 12.18 units as a road dog this year, which is just crazy. Give me a home where the Buffalo roam money line. That's funny. Get Duclair back for the Panthers, and then Barkov can't play. Story of the Panthers. Yeah, Jake, it's hard. That's tough luck, but I expect this to be a competitive game. My prediction is 4-4 overtime game, and the Sabres will win in overtime 5-4. We will see what happens. Morning, Tim. How's it going? Morning. Happy Friday, Terry. Let's cash in. Kev, you did cash on your best bet. Very nice yesterday. We'll get to that very shortly, and we'll look at what you did with your best bet yesterday. If Sabres win in regulation, they would be in the second wild card spot. Definitely, this is a crucial game for both teams. That's why I kind of like the draw, and I'm thinking it's going to be 4-4 going to overtime. Sabres went to overtime last night. They might be going right back to it here tonight. Morning, AJs. How is it going? We'll move to the second last game here today. Kind of early games today. Everything starts before 8 p.m. Central, or 8 p.m. Eastern. LA Kings, New York Islanders. We have LA plus 100 to plus 122. New York Islanders minus 123 to minus 135. Sixes and 5.5s in this game. Money's coming in on New York. The Islanders here, and I can understand why. Sorokin will be a net for the Islanders today. The LA Kings 4-2-2 in their last 8 games. Their 4 wins were all against teams that are not a playoff team. They were all against lower tier opponents. So LA is beating up the teams they should beat, but not so much against teams that are competitive with them. Islanders 7-2-2 in their last 11. Islanders 5-1 in the last 6 meetings in New York. We should have Jonathan Quick in net for LA in this one. This is a spot where I have to take the Islanders. I got them on the money line. The way this is starting to move, you may want to look at regulation. But the Islanders at home here against Quick on a second night of a back-to-back. Obviously, LA, a California team. This is just not a good spot for them. So I like the New York Islanders. Of course, I forgot to mention my 2 player props. The one in the Buffalo game is Tage Thompson to get a point, which is usually 1.5. It's 0.5 points for him. He's the 3rd player in my player point parlay. And the final one here is Brock Nelson. So I'll recap. Ryan Hartman from Minnesota, Tage Thompson from Buffalo, Brent Burns from Carolina, and Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, all to get a point today, is plus 749. That is my player prop parlay of the day. Nelson has been just killing it for the Islanders. He's their number 1 scorer this year. So I will rely on him here. Kings money line says IceX. Hey, you're the contrarian better, so I can see. And Toby is going to go with. And as I type in your best bet, I notice I haven't put mine in yet, so I will have to consider what I'm going to do. Victor Arvidsson under 2.5 shots on goal, which is plus money. Awesome. Plus 102. You also like Noah Dobson under 2.5 shots on goal, minus 118. Nick likes Islanders money line and over 5.5. It's time to hang him up quick. Yeah, I can agree with that. This Buffalo team is electric to watch. Yes. That's why I want them in the playoffs. That's why I'd rather see them in the playoffs than this New York Islanders team. Sorry, Nick. But for playoffs, you want excitement, and that is the Buffalo Sabres. But we'll move on to the final game of the night. Another really important game for both teams, kind of like the Buffalo-Florida game. We have Colorado and Winnipeg. Colorado anywhere from minus 104 to minus 115. Winnipeg minus 110 to minus 105 to minus 115. 5.5s right across the board. In this one, I'm ultimately staying off this game. Colorado has played better recently, 4-0-1 in their last 5. Winnipeg 4-3 in their last 7. Winnipeg's won the last 3 meetings between the teams. This game just is a pass for me. I lean Colorado, but my gut's just telling me not to bet it. So staying off this game, won't even really be watching it. For the wild sake, I guess I hope that Colorado wins in regulation, but we'll see what happens. This will be a good game, but I won't be paying attention to it. Is Quick going to be in net? He's confirmed. No, not that I saw yet. But do they put Copley in on a back tonight or back to back? Let's see. So yeah, Gustafson confirmed for Minnesota. Samsonov likely for Toronto. Bobrovsky confirmed for Florida. Hart and Allen in the Philadelphia game. Talbot confirmed. Sorokin's confirmed. Nobody's confirmed for LA. So we'll have to see what happens. Why not Islanders and Sabres as 7 and 8 seeds? Yeah, it's possible. Avs minus 1.5. Pass, but go Avs go because Nick has futures on them. Boo. That's all I have to say about that. Evan Rodriguez under 2.5 shots on goal, plus 100. Crystal's on the Avs. Expected, sir. So, yeah, it would make sense on the second night of a back-to-back. And I believe he won his last game, so I think they'll probably put him in. Best bet for AJ's is going to be Sabres plus 1.5. Buffalo. I don't know why that's doing that. Buffalo Sabres. Type. Plus 1.5. We'll see what you are getting for that. Dun, 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 dun. Minus 136 is the best price that I see. All right. And then, oh, wow. Yeah. We'll have to see. But I definitely like the Islanders if it's quick. But I'm on the Islanders regardless in this one. We will take a look at what happened yesterday for best bets here. For me, a Minnesota money line, Vegas money line. Vegas came back and won in overtime. So thank you, Vegas, for that. Plus 175 cash. Toby got Shea Theodore, but McCann, as he said, fell short with 30 seconds to go. Tim went with IUPUI plus 10.5. Tim should have went with IUPUI money line or minus 2 or 3.5 because they won by like 4 or 5 points as a 10.5 dog. So great read by Tim. Richie went with Dylan Larkin over 1.5 goals. Unfortunately, he did not score. Crystal went with Boston Bruins minus 1, which was a push. They won by 1. Icex went with Bruins minus 2.5. They only won by 1. Brian went with Vancouver, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh, Edmonton over 6.5. Pittsburgh, Edmonton sure went over. Sadly, Vancouver, St. Louis didn't. Kev parlayed Vegas with Edmonton, Pittsburgh over 7 for plus 224. That cashed. Rich H went with Cirelli and Killorn, both over 0.5 point. Cirelli cashed, but Killorn did not, surprisingly, in that outburst for Tampa. And then Jay Stone went with Seattle first period, minus 0.5, Boston in reg. You were so close there. Seattle tied in the first period. And then Boston ended up winning in reg. So very close, but unfortunately did not cash. We'll take a look at the current standings here. Icex still in first, up 8.65 units. Crystal in second. AJ's in third. Kev in fourth. Tim in fifth. Me in sixth. Dazed and Confused in seventh. Richie in eighth. Rich H in ninth. Toby in 10th. Elliot in 11th. Grinch in 12th. Brian G in 13th. Seagola in 14th. Jay Stone in 15th, and Nick currently in last place. That is the current best bet leaderboard. And going to today, for me, nothing right at this moment. Toby is going with Arvidsson under 2.5 shots on goal. AJ's is going with Buffalo Sabres plus 1.5. Take a look at Crud. Got greedy with my best bet yesterday. I'll be better for the people. LOLX. I gave picks and parlays the Shea Theodore pick for my only play of the day figures. Yeah. The parlay's tempting, but you only got to do it's totally up to you. I will only pull out the parlays in certain situations. Whoa, lots of green. Yeah. We got some great cappers here. And even the ones in red, I bet you next month they're in the green. That's just how it works. So it's all good. King's money line. Is that your play of the day? Is that your best bet? You want me to put it in? Let me know, Grinch. Back to double digits, insert toddler rant. Yeah, there you go. Richie is going to go Alex Tuck. Tuck and Thompson both anytime goal. Tuck plus Thompson. I have a feeling that Tim likes this parlay of yours, Richie. I'll just take a wild guess. Anytime goal parlay. Best bet for Ice X is going to be Ottawa money line plus LA money line. That's going to be a big plus price. Best bet is going to be Kachuk. Okay, so games. I'm confused. You mean Florida? Panthers, right? I think you mean Florida. Kachuk plus Verhaeghe. They both over 1.5 points. Oh no. Okay. Kachuk over 1.5 points. Points plus Verhaeghe. I'm going to completely spell this wrong. Verhaeghe over 3.5 shots on goal. I'll have to make this smaller here. Still make it smaller. Oh, no, it's gone. There we go. And you said that is plus 383. You got it earlier. All right. Perfect. Best bet for Crystal is going to be, hold on here. Crystal is going to be Hurricanes first period minus 1.5. And then the first period minus a half. And you got it. I will check the odds and see what the best odds for you after the show. Best bet 4 straight winning days in NHL when not putting a best bet in. So going to continue it. No best bet. So Nick is trying to blame the show and his best bet for his previous losing. I see how it is. Okay. And Grinch is going to go with Los Angeles Kings money line. Normally I'd say yes, let's fade the Islanders, but I can't today. The value of the parlay is plus 562. Perfect. Thank you. If this best bet doesn't pan out, back to being conservative just to finish in the green and the black. Yeah, that's all I want. We'll see what happens. Tim, perfect. I saved a college basketball spot just for you here. And you're going to go with Satan Hall money line minus 110. Best of luck. Yes, Panthers. Yeah, it said Canes, so you had me. Canes on the brain. I see how it is. Mine says plus 550, but I'm sure you have a better number. Yes, I will check. Blame Terry. Hashtag blame Terry. Yeah. When anything goes wrong, just blame Terry. And I guess I have to pick a best bet for me before the show ends. And I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. I'm going Homer. Wild are beating good teams. Toronto's beating bums and losing to bums. Give me the Wild money line here. I think they continue to go on a run. Plus 190. Let's go Wild. That's my best bet. Blame Nick and Terry. There you go. That is today's show. If you want to put your best bet in, feel free in the comments below. Not the live show comments because the show's ending, but the comments on the regular show. Best of luck to everybody today. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday for another episode. Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Best of luck, guys.